Hi guys, good evening everyone. So as a part of this webinar series, this today's Aptimitra series, so we will be speaking a lot about TCS Ninja specifically to programming section. So today we will be discussing specifically about C programming and then specific with very specific to the technical section of TCS Ninja. So can you just can you guys just give me a hi so that I'm making sure that I'll make sure that you're able to hear me as well as you're able to see my screen. So just do an hi. Hi guys, just do a hi. So today we will be speaking about TCS Ninja, very specific to C, technical section of it. So majorly we will be today focusing on C programming. So in that, our focus area for today's episode will basically be pointers. So let me just take you through the kind of questions that usually TCS Ninja asks. So usually they target on 4 or 5 areas. So those areas, I think it would be great to for you guys to know about it. So the first area that TCS Ninja questions might be from is your basic input and output statements like printf and scanf, stuffs like that. The second area that they target will be basically from data type. Okay, so they usually go a bit weird in this. So usually they will be speaking about unsigned stuffs. Okay, and then hexadecimal, and then octal, something like that. Okay, so and then the third area that they target will be usually from conditional and then iterational statements like your if, switch. Okay, and then for, while, and then a do while. So they usually concentrate on conditional statements like this. And then the fourth area will be a bit difficult for freshers, so that's why they have questions from pointers, functions, and then a bit about struct, and then union. So these are the basic areas that TCS Ninja usually targets. So please make a note of this, guys, so that we can proceed. So as a part of today's episode, we will be focusing a lot more about basics and then advanced pointers. So they have two different varieties of questioning over pointers. That is really a basic pointer one, and then a bit of advanced pointers. So we will be covering these two topics for today. So in today's episode, we'll be speaking about pointers, and then in the coming episodes, we will be also dealing with functions, structures, union, and so on and so forth, about all the other topics that usually TCS asks for. So we'll just start off with this first question. So let me just remove this. Yeah. So our first question here is a very basic one, a very basic question. So this is about the pointers. So do not worry, guys, if you are not really sure about what is C program all about. So do not worry, because we are going to deal a lot of shortcuts on how to solve pointer based problems when it is asked in TCS Ninja. Okay, so you do not have to worry much about the syntaxes, because we will be dealing about all these things in today's episode. So don't worry about not knowing C much. So we will, because we will be speaking about how, what are all the different ways to create pointers, and then what are all the different ways to create functions, and so on and so forth. So the first very basic concept of pointer is a variable. That's the basic, that's the fundamental of any given pointer. So a variable usually will have a data type. Okay, a data type. So a normal data type, a typical data type can be an integer used to represent any given number without any decimal points. Okay, so that's integer for you. Next is float. Float is basically an integer, but you can also represent any floating points. So those are decimal values. So you can also represent something like 5.3, stuff like that. So here you can represent 5, here you can represent 5.3, and so on and so forth. Then there is a long integer where you can represent a really long number. Okay, a long number, so on. And then you can also have something like double. Okay, where you can have float long, that's almost equal to float plus long. And then you also have char, which is a single character, a or b or something like that. It's a single character. And then you have so many other data types which are user defined. So those things we will not discuss today. So these are the basic data types that you might come across in any given language, in any given programming language. So even in C you have this basic data types. So when it comes to pointers, so pointers are something that usually points to a memory. Okay, so I'm damn sure you guys are aware of something called as RAM, right? Random access memory. So all these variables will be stored in something called as RAM. Okay, so RAM, let's assume that RAM is just like a container, right? So the moment you create int a is equals 5. So why am I writing 5 here? Because a is an integer, and which is actually a number. So a can store any given number without any decimal points. So that's why you can also take any other examples like 50 or 500 or 1000, stuffs like that. So the moment you do this, RAM is like a container where the variables will be stored. So this is what happens really. So a variable typically will get a place in the RAM, and a pointer will be pointing towards a particular memory location. So a pointer, as the name suggests, right, pointers are something which will point to a variable or point to a memory. Okay, so you can create pointers in 2 or 3 different ways. So we will be dealing in 2 different ways. I'll be telling you how you can create pointers in 2 or 3 different ways. So you can see any kind of this particular way of having a pointer. So make sure in your question paper, if any of this method comes, then make sure you identify them as a pointer based question. Okay, so let's assume that int a is equals 5. So this is a normal integer that you might get in your question paper, right? So it's a normal integer, or it can be a character, or it can be a double, or any different data type. So here they will be using something like star. Okay, star p. Now this star is an identification in any kind of a question that you have. So this star means they are speaking about pointers. Okay, how to identify pointer based question? So your question, the entire C based question might have something like star. So this means that the pointer's name, okay, the pointer's name is p. The pointer name is p. Here the variable name is a. Okay, this is a variable and this is a pointer, right? So you can identify a pointer based question if you see a star before a particular variable. So that's called as a pointer. So they might give you 3 different ways of having a pointer inside the program. So this is the first way. They just are going to say that int star p and then a semicolon. So this means p is a pointer. Now another way to create a pointer is something like this: int star p equals ampersand a. Okay, so here a is a variable. In this case a is a variable, and in this case ampersand means address of. or you can also say location of. So this pointer p, the number one, so this is a pointer p. How did I identify this? Because I've got a star before p, so this is pointer p. Now in the second case, again I have got a star before p, and this is also a pointer, but it is pointing to a variable called as a. So as per definition, we know that pointer will point to a particular location, so p is going to point towards a. So this is the basic for your pointers. So we will start off with your first question, and let's see how it goes next. So anyone who can answer the first question, anyone who wants to try the answer for the first question. So the first question is displayed, so guys, please feel free to try it out and give me the answer. So the first question is, can you please tell me the pointer variables? What are all the pointer variables I have in my question? Okay. How many pointer variables are there in this question? Any answers, guys? So there is this pointer called as p, right? So because it starts with the star, and this is called as a declaration statement, so here the number of pointers are one. So there is one pointer that's called as p. The name that I have given to this particular pointer is p, right? So next thing that they might ask you is, what will be the output of this program? Okay. So quickly let me tell you how to solve pointer based questions really easily and without doing any kind of a mistake. Okay. So please follow this method and you will never make any kind of mistake. Okay. So please make a note of this particular method. So what do you do is, whenever you get a pointer based question, you draw a structure like, a rectangle, and you call this as your RAM. So now what you do is, you also have some addresses given to each and every location. Okay. So I've given some address locations to each and every chunk of memory that I have. So I have basically drawn a rectangle, and I have divided into a small chunks, so that I can put every variable in one place. Okay. So int star p is the line that I'm going to create a variable, right? So let's just create a variable p, and there is nothing in it, because the moment you give int a equals 5, let's assume that this is your line. Okay, int a equals 5. Now you're going to create a variable called as a, and then put value 5 in it, right? So in the same way, int star p, that's it, semicolon. So what you need to do is just create p, and then nothing in it, because there is no value. Now how you're going to proceed for this particular question is, star p is 5. So guys, again, make a note of it. There are two different points that you need to note down, so that you won't make any kind of mistake when it comes to pointer based questions. Okay. So the first one is star. So star means content of. Star means content of, and then ampersand means address of. So please make a note of it. Star means content of, and then ampersand means address of. So with these two things, you can solve any kind of pointer question, whether it is difficult or very easy or a medium kind of a question. We will be able to solve any kind with these two different words, right? So we will proceed now. So what they are asking us to find out is star p equals 5. So star p can be rewritten like content of p, right? So this again can be reduced to content of nothing, because p is nothing. So the moment you ask what is the value of a, the moment you ask what is a, people are going to say 5, right? So the moment you ask what is p, p is nothing, it's nothing. So there is nothing inside p, so p is nothing. So content of nothing should be equal to 5. So this is what this line says, right? Content of nothing equals 5. So which means this statement is invalid and you might get an error. So if this kind of a question comes, you can directly point out it is an error by seeing that p is not pointing to any kind of an address. Okay, so if a pointer based question comes and if a pointer is not pointing to any kind of a memory location, any memory location, so how do you specify a memory location? You give a memory location with the symbol called as address, right? Ampersand, address of. So if you're not able to see this in any of your program, but still they are assigning some value to your pointer, then you can directly mark that it is an error. So this is the same reason that in your lab program you often get an error called as segmentation fault, right? So this is the same mistake that we do. So we do not allocate any memory to the pointer and then we keep referring to the pointer, we keep assigning values to the pointer. So this is an error. So I'll move on to the next question, and then probably in this question things might be little clear. So again, when you see a pointer based question, what I have asked you to do is go ahead and then draw a RAM and then make chunks out of it and then give some memory location to it. So why am I writing in even numbers is because I am assuming that integer is going to take 2 bytes. So one integer will take 2 bytes. So that's the reason why I'm skipping 1001. Okay. So, but that has nothing to do with the outputs of your pointer based program. Okay. Even if you take 1000, 1001, 1002, the output will pretty much be same. Okay. So do not worry about the convention that I am following here. Forget about it. So we'll start with the main function, and then you see here a equals 50. So a equals 50. The moment you see a equals 50, write variable a and then allocate value 50 to it. Now pointer p equals ampersand a. So I've got a pointer here. I want to create a pointer here, and then I want to say pointer is going to point towards a, right? So find out the address of a, because what we know by seeing ampersand is this is nothing but address of a, right? So what is address of a? Address of a is 1000. So pointer is going to have value 1000 in it, right? So the next statement that we have given here over here is star p equals 500. One another important thing that you guys need to note down is whenever you get an assignment statement, you go like this from right to left. Okay, so try to understand what is in the right. My right side is an integer, okay, and my left hand side is a pointer. So if my left hand side is a pointer, I need to understand what is this exactly. So star p is nothing but content of p, which I can rewrite it as content of, okay. So let me try to rewrite what is this. So a means 50, p means 1000. So content of 1000. Okay, so which is going to be 500, right? This is what this statement says. Star P equals 500. What it means is content of 1000 should contain 500. So please find the location 1000, and whatever was there in that, please erase that and then write 500 in it, right? And then printf percentage d comma a. So when you come to this particular statement, it's pretty much very simple. Printf is used for printing the value on the screen. So you just have to understand what is percentage d. Percentage d is for decimal. So it will try to print whatever the variable that you have given. So this is going to be the variable, and then this will print the value of the variable. Percentage d will take the value of whatever the variable that you are specifying here, right? So we will speak about this printf statement when we are dealing with basic input and output statement in coming episodes. So percentage d comma a is going to give you the value of a. So the value of a is again really simple now. You know what? A was 50. Now a became 500. So the output of this statement is going to be 500. So any doubts, guys? Any queries? Is it clear? Okay, so we will see another program, and then we will try to understand this even more better. Okay, not just be the same program. And let me see how many of you are able to identify this program. Okay, so can you please give me the output of this question number 2? Okay, so I will help you out with small diagrams so that we can understand this very clearly. Okay, so usually when we present this to students, when these kind of questions asked in TCS, right? So I make sure that I have already told you how you can easily solve, and then you will not be going wrong. Okay, so the reason why I am saying this is because if you draw this, you will never go wrong. Okay, you can never go wrong actually if your diagram is perfectly right, and if you can understand what I am doing once, and that's about it. You just need to practice this a lot, and then that's it. It's easy. Okay, so again let me do that for you. Okay, so assume this is RAM, and I'm going to say again 1000, 1002, 1004, 1006, 1008. So don't worry if you have lesser RAM. Okay, so A is 50, right? The moment you see A is 50, all I'm going to do is A is 50, done. So the next step is star P equals address of A. Star P equals address of A. So star P is a pointer, and it's going to be pointing towards A. So what is address of A? Address of A is 1002 here. So I'm going to write 1002. Okay. So the next step is P equals 500. So this is actually quite dangerous, right? So the reason is P is supposed to be a pointer. We all know that, right? And pointers are supposed to point to a memory location, right? Point to a memory location. So which means that wherever you find a pointer, let's say in our example it is P, right? So wherever you find a pointer in this block, the pointers block, you should always have an address, right? You should always have an address. You should never have just a simple value, right? And I have already told you how to get an address of a particular variable. You can use address of A or address of B or address of C or address of D or whatever it is. So in this case, it's clear that P is getting assigned to a value which is 500, and that is not even an address. So this statement clearly states there is some kind of miscommunication between the program and the compiler, right? So compiler is going to accept any address, but what we are saying is, can you please put 500 in P, where P is a pointer and 500 is not a memory location. So this is completely an ambiguous statement, and that might lead to an error. And of course, if you don't have this, let's assume that if you don't have this line, the answer is going to be 50. If you don't have this line, means P is 500. If you don't have that line, then obviously the answer will be 50, because A is not even getting touched, even with the help of a pointer or directly. A is not being touched, so answer will be 50. But you have a line called as P equals 500, so this might lead to error. So always you'll have to make sure 2-3 points in order to get the pointer question right. Okay, so always identify a pointer with star, and always identify address with the example of ampersand. So this is a pointer or content of, this we have already seen, and this is called as address of. Always a pointer should point to a memory. Okay, please remember this point. Always a pointer should point to a memory. Always memory. Okay, never even anything called as normal normal variables or normal values. It cannot have normal values in it. Okay, so let me again do another kind of a problem, so that again we are understanding what a pointer is all about. Okay, okay, so again you can understand that it is a pointer based question, right? So simply we can have simple ram. Okay, so I'm having a little bigger ram because I have so many values. I have to store a lot of them. So a equals 1, which means that you have a variable a and then 1. Oops, I forgot to have addresses for each and every block, so on. Okay, so a is 1, and you can put b anywhere in your ram. It's up to you. Now the next interesting part here is, you have content of PA, means you'll have to create a pointer PA and then store the address of A in it, right? So let's say PA and then store the address of A in it. Address of A is 1002. I'm getting it from here. Okay, so address of A is 1002. Then next is PB equals ampersand B. So which means that my PB, I'm going to create a variable called as PB, and that will be pointing towards the address of B. So what's the address of B? Address of B is 1006. Okay, so at this given point of time, I'm going to make certain kind of inferences based on this particular drawing that I have done. Okay, so first inference is A is 1, B is 2, PA is 1002, PB is 1006. Content of PA is, what is PA first? PA is 1002, and content of PA is actually content of 1002, right? So content of PA is content of 1002. So content of 1002 is 1. Okay, similarly content of PB is 2. What is the reason? The reason is content of 1002, sorry, the content of PB. So PB is 1006 here, so which means that content of 1006 is 2. So these are the certain kind of inferences, these are the certain kind of stuffs that you can actually have here, right? So next step is really interesting stuff. So PB is on the right hand side, okay, and then PA equals PB. Okay, so most of us get confused that when it comes to an assignment statement, the reason is you'll have to read always from right to left. So first let's understand what is PB. So PB is simple. PB is 1006 equals PA. Okay, so I don't remember you whether you guys remember this or not. Earlier we saw when a pointer is having an integer variable, this is not possible, this is an error, right? So but in this case it's not an integer, rather than integer it's an address. The reason is, the reason that this is an address is PB is an address, right? So PB is an address, so that's the reason this also will be an address, right? So PA is going to become 1006. So earlier PA was 1002, now PA is going to become 1006. Done. So we have successfully executed till this line. Okay, next line is fairly simple. So I'm going to change my inference saying that PA became 1006, right? So PA became 1006 and content of 1006 is going to be 2. Okay, so it's now it's going to be very simple for us. A percentage D, B percentage D, A colon percentage D, B colon percentage D, comma A and then B. So first percentage D represents A and then the second percentage D represents B, right? So A is simple 1 and then B is 2. That's it. So the output of this program will be A colon 1, B colon 2. So most of us will get the option wrong. We answer A2 and then B2. This is the most selected option in TCS Ninja. So what's the reason? The reason is one, that we understand that, you know, we assume that A equals B, pointer A equals pointer B, PA equals PB is an, you know, it's going to be pointing to the same memory location, so A will also get changed, but nothing will happen to A, as we can see clearly. You know what happens to A and B in the RAM. So one of the very simplest way to avoid mistakes, to overcome these kind of small mistake when it comes to pointer based question is go with this particular kind of you know, diagrams. So it's very simple, you can do it really quick. So once you get practice, you can make this diagram very faster. Okay, so you can draw this diagram very faster and it's super simple. So please have the habit of drawing these kind of diagrams when it comes to pointer based questions. Okay, so how to solve function based questions? For that we have so many simple ways. Okay, so we will see that in coming episode, but right now just concentrate on this kind of you know, way to this kind of method to solve this problem. Okay, so guys, everyone clear? Yeah, so we will go to the next question. Again, it's a very simple one if you have the diagram in place. Okay, so this time I will make the diagram a little quicker. Okay, try to follow, and if you're not able to follow, please ping me in the comment sections. Okay, please give us a comment, please chat with us so that we can understand where you're you know, where you're not able to understand. Okay, so let me draw this diagram little quicker. I'm going to create RAM So I will have some memory locations. So A is 1 and then B is 2. Okay. So star PA equals address of A. So I'm going to create a pointer PA and then I'm going to have address of A stored in it. Address of A is 1000. So I'm going to store PA 1000. Okay. So again, PB is going to be pointing towards address of B. So address of B is 1004. I'm going to store 1004 in PB. Okay. So again, this statement is a little tricky one. So let me try to solve this for you guys so that next time when you see these kind of problems, it's super simple for you. Okay. So as you know, this is an assignment statement. You start from right and then go till left. So again, it is simple. So we need to understand what is PA equals PB. So we start from PB here because that's on the right hand side, right? So PB is nothing but content of PB. So content of PB is nothing but content of 1004, right? So content of 1004 is actually 2. The reason is this is the address 1004 and the content of 1004 is 2. So if I evaluate right hand side, I'm going to get 2. I'm getting 2 over here. Okay. So star PA equals 2 is what they are trying to tell me, right? So now next is what is star PA? Let's understand this. So star PA is nothing but content of PA, right? So now what is content of PA is content of 1000. Okay. So what they are trying to say me is, in content of 1000, please put 2. So please go and check what is 1000. Okay, 1000 is here. Where is 1000? So 1000 is here. So in place of 1000, I mean in the content of 1000, please put the value 2. That's what this line tells me. Okay. So this particular line star PA equals 2 is going to tell me please put 2 in the content of PA. So content of PA is nothing but content of 1000. So please put in the content of 1000, please put the value 2. So let's just erase this off and then do 2. Okay. So now you get A2 and then B2. Yeah, awesome. Some of you are getting that right. So I hope these kind of diagrams help you to visualize the pointer based questions, which is really difficult. It's really difficult to understand the pointer based question, visualize the pointer based question. So these kind of diagrams will not only just help you to visualize the pointer, but also it will help you not to make any kind of mistakes. Okay. So I hope you guys get the answer here. So the answer of this particular question is again simple. So that is A2 and then B2. All you need to do is what is A and then what is B from this. That's it. So is it clear, guys? Any doubts here? So let me just give you some time so that you can let me know if you have any questions. Okay. So please let me know if you have any questions, guys, any concerns, any issues. Till now, everything is clear. Yeah. So we will proceed and we will get to the question 6. Okay, let me explain this previous question again. Okay. So all you have to do when you see these kind of question is to go and start with the diagram. Okay. Again, the diagram is really simple. Okay. I'm going to have A and then I'm going to have B. Where you have that doesn't really matter. Okay. It can be 1000, it can be 4000, it can be 5000, something like that. Anything is fine. Okay. Yeah, Vasu, we will see some kind of programs with double star. Okay, we will see that in some time. So I'm explaining this. I'm explaining this to Sai Krishna. So please respond if you are getting that again. Okay. So all I'm going to have is PA will have address 1000, and then PB is going to have address 1002. The reason is this is what these two lines says, right? Based on these two lines, I have created these two places. Okay. So let's first understand what is star PB. Star PB is simple content of PB. So what is A? A is 1, right? And what is B? B is 2. What is PA? PA is 1000. What is PB? PB is 1002. I hope this is really clear. So all I'm going to do is instead of PB, I'm going to substitute the exact value of PB, that is 1002. So content of 1002 is nothing but 2. Am I right? So what is the content? Content means you'll have to check inside the box. So what is the content of 1002? Content of 1002 is 2. Okay. So the next is we need to put that where. So this is what I have evaluated. I have evaluated star PB, and now we need to evaluate what is star PA, and then we need to put 2 inside star PA. So star PA says content of PA. The moment you see star, you replace star with content of. Okay. The moment you see ampersand, you replace ampersand with address of. Okay. So content of PA. So what is PA here? Content of PA is nothing but 1000. So please put 2 inside content of 1000. So you guys remember, if you are speaking about content of, you need to speak about the value which is inside the box, right? So what is inside the box? Inside the box you can see this is 1. So what we are trying to say by this line is please remove whatever is there. Instead of whatever is there, please put 2. Okay, so we are going to remove 1 and we need to put 2 inside it. Okay, so we need to remove 1 and we need to put 2 inside it. So that's the value of A is 2, and that's the value of B is again 2. So I hope this is clear, Sai. So we will move to the next one. So let's have a question with double star in it. So which means this falls under the category of medium to hard. Okay. So if you can see a double star question, so this might be coming from medium to hard kind of question. Okay. So which means that you need to put a little effort to understand these kind of problems. Okay. So don't worry, that's why we are here, right? So we will help you. So again, whenever you see a pointer based question, start with this diagram. Okay, so A is 1. So I'm going to state A is 1. Again, I forgot to write my locations. Okay, so pointer P is equals address of A. Okay, so I'm in this line now. Pointer P equals address of A. So create a variable P and store the address of A in that. So address of A is 1000. So address of A is 1000, right? So I'm going to store 1000 in P. Now there is a little twist in this. This is star star P equals ampersand P. So star star means pointer of pointer. Okay. So star star means pointer to a pointer. So that's what star star means. So star star PP. So there is a double P over there. So star star PP equals ampersand P. Again, ampersand P, I think you guys are understanding now. So ampersand P is nothing but address of P. right? So this is nothing but address of P, and this is nothing but address of A. In a similar line, this is address of P. So address of P is 1004. So I'm going to write 1004 over here, right? Simple. Now, what I'm trying to say here is content of P is equals 10. So again, since this is an assignment statement, you need to go from right to left, and you can understand what is 10. It's not even any variable, so you don't have to really worry about what is there in the right hand side. So let's just check what is there in the left hand side part. So left hand side part again is very simple. So they are saying star P, which means content of P, and you just have to again substitute what is P. So P is actually 1000, so just substitute 1000 over here. Okay, so content of 1000 is going to become 10. Okay, content of 1000, whatever is there in content of 1000, please remove that and then put the new value, that is 10. That's what I am trying to say. So whatever is there in content of 1000, please check where is 1000. 1000 is here. Okay, 1000 is here. So go and change the content of 1000 to 10. So I'm going to change the content of 1000 to 10. Forget whether it is A, or forget it is whether it is B or C or whatever it is. Do not care about what is there in this on the left hand side of the block, but what matters is the right hand side of the block when you are assigning, right? So the right hand side says content of 1000 is going to become 10. So earlier it was 1 and then I made it to 10 now, right? Super simple. Now the output of this program, I mean this line, will be 10. The reason is, what is A? A is 10. What is P? P is 1000. What is PP? PP is 1004. So in that line, A is just 10. So the output of this line is going to be 10. The next line is again very interesting, right? So star star PP. So how do you write this? Simple. So content of, again one more content of, because you can see 2 stars, PP. Okay, so again this can be rewritten. You can write this as content of what is PP? PP is, A is 10, P is 1000, PP is 1004. So content of 1004. So again you can make this to content of, okay, can you guys please check what is content of 1004? Content of 1004 is 1000. Content of 1000. So what this line says to me is star star PP equals 100 means, can you please put in content of 1000, whatever is there, forget about it, please overwrite it with 100. That's what this line says. So content of 1000 equals 100. So please find the area which is 1000, which is 1000 is over here, right? 1000 is here. So in the content of 1000, please put 100. So let's just rewrite this as 100. Okay, now again it's simple. What is PP? PP is 1004. What is P? P is 1000. What is A? It was 10, now it became 100. We didn't touch A directly, but we touched A first with P and then now with PP. Okay, so star star PP, which means content of PP equals 100, which is nothing but content of 1004, which is actually equal to content of 1000. So please put whatever is there in the content of 1000, erase that and then put 100 in that. So in this way, if you see, the output of this line will be 100. Now again this line is little complicated, right? So what this line says is, let me make some space. Okay, so what this line says is star PP equals 5. So this I mean, right hand side, it's super simple. It's not even a single variable, so we don't have to understand what is right hand side, right? Again, you'll have to start from right to left. So we don't have to understand what is 5 because it's constant. So star pp is nothing but content of pp. Now, what is pp? pp, from this diagram, I can understand that pp is 1004. So content of 1004. Okay, so what this line says is, please put whatever is there in content of 1004, remove that, and then please put 5. 5 is a constant. 5 is not an address. Remember that 5 is not an address. 5 is a constant. Okay, 5 is a constant. So what this means is, can you please put 5 in the content of 1004? Okay, so content of 1004 is here. This is what content of 1004 was. I mean, this is what content of 1004 is. That is 1000 is actually an address, and then p is a pointer. P has to have a address in that. Can I change this to 5? We already saw that I cannot change this to 5. The reason is 5 is a constant. 5 is an integer constant, whereas p is a pointer which has to point to an address, right? I cannot put, I cannot put this, right? We all saw that if integer star p equals 5 is an invalid statement. This is an error. The reason is p can point to some address which is 5. A can be 5, but we are not storing p equals 5. We are taking address of a and then storing it in p. So this is right, whereas this is wrong. That's what we saw, right? So here in this line, what I'm trying to say is content of pp equals 5, which means that can you please put 5 inside 4? This is what you're trying to tell. So which means that this is not possible because 5 is a constant. 5 is an integer constant. You cannot put 5 and then you cannot say p will now point to 5, because 5 is not just an address. 5 is an constant, right? 5 is an integer. So this is completely illegal to do. So this line, this entire line is actually not possible at all. So if this line is not there, if this line, assume that this line is not there, all you are going to get is 100 for this, because I have not done anything apart from, that's it. So whatever I have done in the last, that's what I have done. But here I am having a statement which says that please assign an integer constant to a pointer variable which is p. So please make this pointer p to point to 5. That's not possible at all. Yes. So I mean, I'm not this particular program will give an error here. So instead of that, what you can have is, if you want to get output, if you want to get output that is 10, 100 and 5. Okay, if you want to get this output, you can change this program. Okay, you can change this program. We've already got 10, 100, 100. Okay, if you want to get 5 as the output, what you can do is simple. You can just change to p star p. This is one way, or the other way is you can put star p star pp equals 5. So both are actually same. Yes, Balaji, you have pointed it out right. I was not doing a mistake. Rather than that, I was telling you that this program will give an error. So the right way is, you have pointed out very rightly that you either I will have to use star pp, or I will have to use star p. So then the output will be 10, 100 and 5. Okay. So what Vigneshwar Sriram says is, content of pp is 1008. Content of pp is not 1008. Address of pp is 1008. Okay. So you guys remember what is a? A is 100. What is address of A? Address of A is 1000, right? Where am I getting this from? A is 100, right? A is 100, it's direct. Address of A is here. Okay, so PP is 1004, PP is 1004, and address of PP is 1008. Is it clear, Vigneshwar? Content of PP is not 1008. Okay, content of PP is 1004, therefore content of 1004 is 1000, not 1008. So content of PP will be 1000. Okay, so I hope you know the drawing method, drawing a RAM and then visualizing the RAM was a useful method. So if you guys have any questions, any queries, please post it on the live chat. I'm waiting for your comments. Okay, so with the same diagram, let me just wait for your questions. So within that time, I will also show you how you can represent certain things in a little different way. Okay, so after this, what you need to do after this particular class, what you need to do is you also got to practice a lot with this kind of diagrams. Okay, so the first is really simple. Let me give you certain tips. Okay, so the first tip, I mean the first thing that you need to note down here is content of PP. Okay, content of PP is nothing but what? Content of PP is nothing but P. Okay, how am I saying this? It's really simple. Content of PP is content of 1004. Content of 1004 is 1000, right? And what is P? P is also 1000. So in the same way, you can also say content of P will be A, right? Because content of 1000 is what? Content of 1000, content of 1000 is 100 and A is also 100. So and another important thing that you can understand here is again very fairly simple. PP will be address of P. Am I right? It's super simple, right? So PP is nothing but 1004 and address of P is also 1004. So the reason why am I able to get this is because you can easily understand it here itself. So PP is 1004. Okay, guys, any questions? You can put it on the live chat. Coming days, we'll always be discussing a lot of interesting stuffs, which you can easily use for solving your TCS Ninja question papers. So maybe in the next episode, we will be speaking about pointers, and then in the coming episodes, we will be speaking about how difficult the question can be from for loop, if conditions, switch cases, and then structures, and then unions. Okay. So please click on the subscribe button so that you are aware of what is happening with Aptimitra by Ethnus. Okay, so please do click on the subscribe button, and then there will be a notification symbol, a bell icon next to the subscribe button. So please go and then click on it so that you are staying tuned with whatever we are posting. So if you're going to click on the notification icon, so whenever we go live, whenever we are putting a video on, let's say TCS Ninja, how to crack simple functions, some kind of programming questions, you will be able to get it online. Okay, so please click on the subscribe button, and then please share this link, please share this video with all your friends so that they are getting cleared with the concepts of pointers. And then please click on the notification symbol as well. So if you like the video, please go ahead and then give it a thumbs up. Yeah, we might make it 2 hours. So based on the comments that we are receiving from you guys, based on the number of viewers that we are getting for a particular video, and based on the concepts that we are covering, we might increase the number of hours that we are giving out to you as a live session. Okay, so please, Vasu, just stay tuned for more updates from Aptimitra by Ethnus. Thank you so much, guys. You have been a wonderful audience, and then thanks for your time. So in coming sessions we'll be speaking about more things like functions, and then some of the aptitude concepts are again yet to be covered. So even some of the technical concepts are yet to be covered. So please stay tuned, give it a like, subscribe, and then click on the notification symbol. Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful night.